Abraham Maslow was born in Brooklyn, New York on April 1st in the year 1907, aka he was born on April Fool's Day. But don't worry, his life was absolutely no joke. Abraham was the oldest of 7 children, which wasn't many children compared to many families back then. Both his parents were Jewish and immigrated from vodka thirsty Russia to the beer-brewing United States of America. Since both his parents were highly uneducated, they literally pushed for their children's academic success, despite knowing that their kids were obviously going to outsmart them one day, and pushing aside any kind of thoughts as to how the kids would feel. Because of this, Maslow didn't have a very happy childhood. Maslow turned to his books for salvation, reading his life away, and then he eventually found his happiness again. In college, Maslow floated to and from quite a bit. Let's start from the very beginning, huh? He first attended the City College of New York. Then he switched to Cornell. But then he decided he wanted to switch back to the City College of New York. During this time, he married his cousin Bertha Goodman. And yes, you did hear that correctly. He married his cousin. Gross. They would go on to have 2 children together. After marrying Bertha, together they moved to Wisconsin, the cheese state, so Maslow could attend the University of Wisconsin for graduate school. It was here that he discovered his love and passion for the process of the mind, which is also known to us as psychology. His 3 degrees from Wisconsin, a Bachelor of Arts degree, a Master of Arts degree, and a PhD, which is also known as a doctorate, would all be in this field. While Maslow was in graduate school, he studied under a man named Harry Harlow, who was famously known for his rhesus monkey experiments. But don't get confused, guys. He didn't use any of the candy Reese's in his experiment. It just sounds like it because the word rhesus is in the beginning of the title. During these studies, Maslow noticed that some of the needs the monkeys had seemed to take priority over their other needs. For example, the need for the monkey to breathe is more important than thirst, which turned out to seem more important than a monkey's need for hunger, which seemed to be more important than the one thing that's supposedly always on a human's mind: sex. This idea would eventually help develop and become the hierarchy of needs. After finishing his PhD, Maslow and his wife Bertha moved back to New York, and Maslow began working with a man, his name, Ethan L. Thorndike, at Columbia University. Eventually, Maslow would land a job teaching at Brooklyn College. At this point in history, many European intellectuals were immigrating into the United States through New York, Brooklyn more specifically. There were many Gestalt and Freudian psychologists coming in as well. Maslow met and talked with many of these individuals, including Adler, Fromm, and Horney, all whom he would learn a lot from. One of the most important people, however, Maslow met in Brooklyn, New York, was an intelligent man named Kurt Goldstein. Goldstein was one who originated the concept of self-actualization in his book, The Organism. Self-actualization would become a key part of Maslow's own theory later in life, which turned out to be the motive to realize one's full potential, to express and activate all the capacities of the specific organism. On June 8th, in the year 1970, Abraham Maslow unfortunately died of a heart attack. As mentioned previously a few times, Maslow's work, The Hierarchy of Needs, is what he's most famously remembered for. He believed that humans had needs that were arranged in a pyramid of 5 different levels. The first level is the psychological level. It's all about the basic needs your body has to have to stay alive. This level includes the normal things you think about, like water, oxygen, and food. For example, protein, sugar, salt, minerals, vitamins, and calcium. But it also includes things like maintaining the body's pH balance and temperature. He also added the need to sleep, to be active, and to get rid of the body's waste, such as CO2, delicious sweat, urination, and feces. The second level is a safety and security needs level, where one must begin to put a hard hat on their life, following through with their main goal of finding safety. This includes the actual environment, its stability, and the protection that it offers. Some people also need their environment to offer things like order, limits, structure, and rules. In modern America, a safe environment for most people would be an updated house in a good neighborhood with a well-paying job that allows for financial stability and a good health and a retirement plan. The third level stands for love and belonging needs. It only begins to form after the second level has been completely taken care of. Once you feel secure mentally and physically, you begin to yearn for another person, family, friend, or relationship in your life. You begin to feel very anxious, looking to find anything or anyone to fill your loneliness. This can be depicted in our day-to-day routines, expressing our needs and wishes to have a family when we get older, to join groups, to become a part of something bigger than what one is used to build a future and a career. After our love and sense of belonging has been met, we move on to the fourth level of Maslow's hierarchy. This level is about the esteem needs. According to Maslow, there are two types of esteem, the lower esteem and the higher esteem. Pretty self-explanatory, right? The lower esteem is based on the respect you get from others, such as when you have fame, attention, recognition, appreciation, dignity, dominance, and reputation. The higher self-esteem is based on self-respect, such as independence, mastery, freedom, and confidence. Also, the higher form is a lot harder to lose than the lower form. Maslow refers to these four levels as deficit needs. This means that if you don't have enough of something in those levels, you will have a need for that level. If you don't meet the needs of one of those levels, you cannot go to the next level. However, on the opposite side, if you get every single thing you need right when you need it, you won't be motivated to do anything. Each of these levels previously need a balance or homeostasis. When all of these levels have been met, you reach the highest and the last level, self-actualization. This level has needs that do not have balance. These needs are encouraged to continuously grow and become stronger. They include many things like truth, goodness, beauty, aliveness, simplicity, playfulness, meaningfulness, and many, many more. If these needs are not met, then the person at this stage of self-actualization can fall into a deep depression and even deep despair. Maslow believed that only about 2% of the population has ever reached this stage because it's so difficult to find just the right balance in the other levels to move up to this one. The people that do reach this level are generally able to differentiate between the fake and the real. They see that life's problems do have solutions and that they just need to be found, and that at the end of the day, they may not always find the justified means that they're looking for. Also, a person who has reached the self-actualization level is okay with being alone and has deeper and more meaningful relationships. Everyone knows it's about quality, not quantity, right? They are independent and they can resist peer pressure. They live above the influence. Today, Maslow continues to inspire the psychology field. Much of his research was not formal, but the ideas behind them were sound and have caused many other scientists to become fascinated with self-actualization and help them to perform their own studies.